What's cracking, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today it is about time that we discussed the ST150, what is wrong with it and what are the next steps. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, then you won't have seen that we had a track day, our first ever track day in the ST150, and we were having an absolute blast in this car until it went wrong. And today we're going to have a little discussion on what we think has gone wrong, talk you through it, and then what the next plans are for the car moving forward to get us back on track next year. So a quick little rundown. This is our ST150 that me and a good friend of mine, Sammy, bought together to do as a track car. It had 100,000 miles on it. It's not too bad a nicker car. You know, we only picked it up for about 1,800 quid, so it was a bit of a steal, and we smashed it around on our first track day, and it was amazing. Okay, so if you've not seen the track day video, go watch that, because what you'll see is us absolutely smashing it, and then the next thing you know, the oil pressure light comes on and everything just goes wrong from there. We luckily get the car back to the pits, and then we have to leave it while we wait for a recovery truck. And when we come back, there's a little bit of oil under the car and there's a little bit in the engine bay, but there's not really too much actually else going on. So we dropped the car off with Gary, who's the guy who looks after my Evo, and he had a little look through and he basically said the engine is done. And when we start it up, which I'm going to do for you guys in a minute so you can hear it, because it does still run, you'll hear what we think the issue is. So let me start it up for you. You can hear what the car sounds like, and then I'm going to talk you through what we think is the problem. Okay, so let me start her up for you. Oh, that doesn't sound good. So, as you can hear, that doesn't sound good at all. So, that is what she currently now sounds like, and this is what we are dealing with. So, yeah, I'm going to turn that off because I don't want it to keep running, because, yeah, it just does not sound good at all. So, I'm just going to turn that off for you guys. Ugh. And let's have a little talk about what we think is going on. Okay guys, so as you can hear, the car does not sound good at all, and after doing a little bit of research, I think I've come to a conclusion, and I might be wrong. There might be some ST150 guys watching this who can actually give me a hand and give me a little bit more of an insight from their point of view. But let me start off by saying this. We didn't have a sump baffle in the car because we were told we wouldn't need one. It was our first track day and we're not going to be going like race sort of spec on it. So we got told we wouldn't need one. But I think this was the downfall for the day. Now the reason I think this is because we had a drop in oil pressure, and in these cars they actually run a timing chain. So the oil pump actually lubricates the timing chain, and because we'd had a drop in oil pressure, we weren't getting oil to the timing chain, which I've found can actually cause issues for the timing chain to happen. And now this could have happened over the whole course of the track day, and then eventually it just gave out on us, which is what I'm wondering, which is that could that noise be that essentially, because oil pressure drops, no oil getting to the timing chain can actually malfunction or even deteriorate, and when we actually look into the engine where we remove the oil cap, we can actually see shards of metal in there, which to me might explain that actually we've got some shards of timing chain actually in our oil in our engine, which is not good news. Now obviously this could also link up to the fact that that is what that noise is. So we originally thought it might be a knock, and it could be a knock as well, but for me it actually sounds like it could be a timing chain issue, which is what that kind of rattling noise is in the engine when I started it up, as you heard. But hopefully if there's any ST150 owners watching this, you'll be able to give us an insight. So that is where we are with the car, and what are the plans, I suppose, moving forward. So I suppose you're wondering, what are the next steps for me and Sammy and this track car? And that is going to be a brand new engine, because we are just going to be doing the swap ourselves, and we are really lucky that I have a good friend of mine, Scott, who you might have seen in some of my other videos, comes to a lot of the Japanese car stuff with me. He's engine sort of swapped or changed engines in cars a lot, pulled them out, put them in, and he's offered to help me and Sammy. So I'm actually buzzing to get this done, because it's going to be something totally different that me and Sammy have never done before, and it's going to be an experience. It's going to give you guys some content to see what we're doing, see us getting our hands dirty, and essentially doing a replacement engine for the ST150. So obviously me and Sammy are quite lucky to have in our lives a good friend of ours called Scott, and Scott has done loads of this stuff before. He's taken engines out of his own cars, rebuilt them and put them back in, and instead of paying like £1,000 for someone to take the old one out and put a new one in, Scott has actually offered to help us with putting a new engine into the car. So what we're doing at the moment is we're sourcing an engine for this. They're usually between sort of 350 to say 700 quid, and that's how much we want to spend. And then Scott's got an engine hoist and an engine stand, so we're going to pull that old engine out and we're going to put a new one in. And yes, at the same time we are going to fit a sump baffle because we don't want the same issues to happen again. Okay, so that isn't the only thing obviously we've got planned for the ST150 over the winter period, and now that it's obviously not going to be on track anymore, but obviously it's a little bit of a setback, I'm not going to lie, but we have other things planned for the car, because on the track day it helped us to find out that one, we need some new tyres, because these things are really not that great. They're not even all the way round. They're a very cheap brand. I think they're like Land Sales or something, so you know, they're not the best tyres. They were squealing, but they did the job. They got us our first track day, but they will be the first thing that is definitely changing on the car. The second thing we're going to have a look at doing is obviously improving sort of suspension. So we're going to look at putting on some coilovers, because the stock stuff's not too bad. The car actually does handle really well, but we know it can be a lot better. So we're going to be changing over to some coilovers, and that'll be the next thing we look at after the tyres. And then also we're probably going to have a look at the brakes, because at the end of the day the ST150 isn't a massive powerhouse car. Now yes, you can do a lot of engine mods, but it gets expensive. So we've turned around and said, look, what we want to do is just focus on handling and sort of braking and being able to really take it hard in the corners and on those short strips of the track, especially something like Snetterton, which is our home track, because it has a lot of short sections. And then obviously on the longer strips, you know, we're not going to be totally as powerful, but it means we're going to be focusing on, like, you know, those shorter tracks, those corners, and handling and braking, going into the corners hard, braking hard, and then coming out the other side. So that is going to be the main focus. It's going to be sort of suspension and handling and braking, as well as obviously doing an engine swap. Okay, so as well as sort of brake, suspension, handling and those sorts of things, we have a few little power mods going onto the car. Nothing major, but just a better free-flowing exhaust system that is already sat at my house ready to go on. And we've also got an induction kit actually waiting to go on the car as well, but we're going to wait until we've done the engine swap to do that, obviously. And that will be paired with Sammy's cousin's brake duct intakes that he already done for us, which we used on the track day, as you can see here, which were absolutely amazing. And I really think they helped us on the day, because we had no brake fade and we absolutely hammered this around the track and into the corners. So I'm really chuffed with those. So like I say, a few little power mods, but mainly it's going to be braking, suspension and handling, and obviously doing that engine swap that's going to be the focus for the winter. So guys, that is the plan with the ST150 track car moving forward into the winter. Now, what I want to say as well is, if there's any ST150 owners or experts out there who are watching this and you're listening going, that's not what's wrong with the car, please let us know in the comments box, because I could use some assistance on this. I've gone with what I think it is, which is timing chain, because how it relates to the oil pump and oil pressure dropping. But if you're sit there going, no, it's definitely rod knock, or it's something really small that we don't know or we've not picked up on, and you might be going, no, it's fine, you just need to change this and the engine's good, please let us know in the comments box, because we could really use some advice, especially if you are used to ST150s, you've driven them before, or you've built them yourself, or if you're an expert in these engines. So I suppose the final thing, guys, is to just say, please like, comment, share, subscribe and support the channel, because we're going to need all the support we can get over winter to get this done. Obviously, it's a little bit more financially that we've got to put into the car, which is fine, but I can't wait to get this thing back on track, especially once we've got the new engine in and we've made those kind of sort of performance and handling mods we're going to change. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, support the channel, keep supporting. Let's get to 1,000 subs, and we'll see you in the next one, when hopefully, when it comes to the ST150, we can bring you some goodies. And to be fair, we'll probably be whipping out that engine the next time we see you and do a video for the track car build. So until next time, guys, peace out.